name is Alyssa Jones, and this is going to be a WIP Parade video. You can find me on Instagram at ajstitch. I have been a little scarce lately, but I'm hoping to start posting some stitching progress. I also have not been on here very much lately because it's been a rough beginning of the school year, and now it's the holiday season and I had to just make a point to be here. This is my third attempt at filming this. I've actually filmed it fully twice and my device deleted it, so I've changed where it's being stored, and I'm very hopeful that I get to actually post this video, because if this doesn't work, I'm going to try to do a live tomorrow, and my house is probably going to be a little busier tomorrow than it is today, and that will be less ideal. Alright, so I recently, from Vet Core Shop, I had gotten a gift card for my birthday, and I ordered myself the cross stitch journal. I actually ordered two because I knew I had quite a few WIPs. And then last week, I think it was, I went into my journal and I wrote down all of my WIPs. Oops. There are 45 currently, and so what you're going to see today are all of those projects, and you'll kind of get an idea of how I'm organizing my end of year thoughts and what maybe I'm looking to do next year. Of course, it's all straight up maybe. I don't want to say that I'm definitely sticking to any plan of any kind, because we know how that works. Also, you'll notice I am itching my nose a little bit. From filming this 3 times, I have found all of the cat hair that I'd saved in these cross-stitch projects as well, and it is like tickly in here. It's like flying around the air now. It's not a good situation. Peanut did make an appearance in both of the other filmings. She likes to be near me when I'm talking, so she might show up again too. Apollo and the other puppy kitties have been a little scarce, but maybe they'll show up too. So to start, I have a giveaway from 2 months ago that I had not drawn anybody for. It was for this 28 count Victorian red and raw opal Newport linen, and it's an 18 by 27.5 inch piece. Peanut's coming to lay on everything. You're gonna make a mess, I just know it. And so I did use the YouTube random comment generator earlier, and the winner is, I'm gonna go with Jana Foldlepore. Beautifully spelled name. And so you win. I will comment on your comment and ask you to email me so I can ship this to you. So congratulations. And in the meantime, we're going to get started on all of my WIPs. Oh, wait, no. I skipped something. Peanut was on it. I have 2 finishes since my last video. So one thing that I finished was my first Snail House Saturday sal with Emma X Stitching and Joe Belushi Stitches. This is the Strawberry Snail House by Owl Forest Embroidery. They're sold in these cute little kits. You get the linen, the floss, a needle minder. It's all well organized, and they're just lovely little projects. I do think these ones might be nice to have on hand for like a little gift to someone. There's just something super sweet about them and slightly whimsical. So I was happy to get that one done. They both have 2 done now, I believe. They both have the strawberry one done and the forget-me-not. I only have 1 done. And then I also finished, this might be like my year accomplishment that I managed to do another sal and finish it on time, was the Deck the Halls in Time for Christmas sal with Emma X Stitching, Joe Belushi Stitches, and my dear friend Darcy Cameron as well. And I caught up. I had gotten a little behind last month, and then this doesn't even have to be done until like next Tuesday. And look, it's all done. So exciting. Great stitch. This is by Caterpillar Cross Stitch. It was originally released in 6 parts, and so we stitched 1 part a month, even though you buy the whole pattern now. It's not a mystery. And it was a really fun stitch, and I think that's why stitch-alongs are so much fun, is because you finally get to stitch with your friends. I did sign up for this Stitch North stitching retreat so that I can actually stitch with real humans, and that comes up in April. So I don't know if anybody else is going to Stitch North, but if you are, I'd love to meet you. Can't wait to stitch with people. I know X Stitch MD is going, but she's the only one I actually know so far. So I think it's going to be a great opportunity to make some new stitching friends. All right, so I have all of my whips here. I'm going to start showing them. I'm also trying to start a pile of all holiday ones and ones that I'm currently focusing on. So I started trying to get that organized, and then my whole camera thing shut down. So I decided to change my shirt because I thought maybe I was wearing an unlucky shirt. But we're going to work through some whips. You've seen almost all of them, I think, except maybe some new ones that I started, and my oldest whip is down here too. There's a lot. So we're going to get moving because this takes a bit. So the first whip I'm going to show is an Owl Forest Embroidery kit. This is Quaker Whale. There are 3 of these in their collection, I believe. There's a whale, a dragon, and a cat that look very similar. I think they're based on folktales. Russian folktales, I believe. And this one I started a while ago and have become distracted with other things, but it's about halfway done. Absolutely beautiful. Love the colors. Love how it comes together. It'd be even more fun to stitch if I didn't miscount when I was like doing things like waves and fish and have to redo the boat. But I'm very happy with how it's coming, so I can't wait to get to that tail. Hopefully he gets a little bit more attention. The problem is I do have other Owl Forest kits going, and I get distracted pretty easily. And I have not been stitching as much as I usually would. There's that. It's fun. School's tough. This Sal was a fail, where Deck the Halls was like a full success. This one is a fail, but an enjoyable fail. This is the Magic Kingdom Sal by Cunning Cross Stitch, and it was a monthly release, and I definitely kept up for 2 months, and then I have fallen significantly behind. I think almost all the parts are out now, and it's awesome because when it's all done together, this whole thing becomes like the shape of Cinderella's castle. But I only got The Little Mermaid and Alice in Wonderland stitched, and then I started Snow White. So I do still hope to keep stitching this and finish it. I just didn't. Very fun. This one's in my hideous project bag that I made. I need to watch that video that everybody watches where they learn to make project bags. Betsy, if you lived closer, I want you to teach me because you do a great job on making bags. Okay, so then my next whip is Flea Market Flowers by Lori Holt. It's So Emma's Fat Quarter Shop. And I started this when the Sal was released and definitely didn't keep up, but I was enjoying it. I'm doing this, I think this feels like a piece of Fortnite fabric. And you can see I got the top corner done. I was working my way across the middle. There are a lot more stitches there than you realize. Very pretty colors though. I did accidentally do these in the wrong colors, but I'm not unhappy with that because I feel like you can see the center design a little bit better than with the darker color inside it. I'm also on this WIP Parade noticing where all of my scissors are. It seems like I'm only using the one single pair of scissors all the time, and I lose them constantly. And it's just nice to know that I actually do still own scissors. They're not lost. They're just in all of these whips. This project is the 2021 Modern Folk Embroidery Fruit of Plenty Sal. This one I have also fully filled it. I did come in late in my defense, but I haven't touched it, and I want to. This is a piece that I am not setting aside. I fully intend to finish it. It just won't be this year. So I have the first 3 parts, and the 4th one's more than halfway done. My colors for this, I chose DMC 503 and 928. And I can't wait to stitch more on that. My lighting at this point in the day, maybe I'll try adjusting my light here, it's like dark and blustery and cold out. Let's go that. Is that better? Oh yeah, that's better. There. Now it's not so washed out. So I do want to catch up on this one. And catching up, there's only 1 month left, and I'm not going to get all of those thousands and thousands of stitches done in 1 month. But he has a new one coming out, Jacob does, in 2022. And the monthly stitch count is much smaller. So I really want to do that one and still try to keep working on this one because I think that's beautiful. just not always great at keeping up with my sales. Here's another example. This is the Caterpillar cross stitch Hello Pumpkin, and I did this as a stitch along. I didn't keep up. It was supposed to be done like 2 months ago, and I think there's only 2 parts left that I didn't stitch, and I just have so many problems with this. There's like a miscount somewhere, and so my whole tree is like wonky, but I don't think anybody would ever notice. It's just me, or maybe somebody who has also stitched this piece, but it was a fail. Emma and Joe, Sal fail. That's why you guys get to be the queens, and I'm just like your poor lowly princess that like joins and loves the idea of joining, but can't quite rule the Sal country by herself. Not like you guys can. And ooh, this one is my Shores of Hawk Run Hollow by Carriage House Samplings. This is a big one, and I have not touched it. I think what's going to keep me going on this one is getting to that ship, because I can't wait to stitch that, and then that whale, because I have such a thing for whales. And then if I can get through all of that, all that will be left is one, and then I'll be like, oh, I just want to finish it now. But to get to all of those fun pieces that I can't wait to do, there's quite a few stitches left. So I still have not yet finished my Love to See block with the lady standing on the widow's walk, which breaks my heart. I only live about 5 hours away from Boston, and I enjoy visiting that area. I like going to Marblehead and Gloucester and seeing all those old homes and those fishing communities. It's just a lovely area if you ever get to go. This one is the Batson Booze Stitch Along. It's a mystery stitch along. I think this was free from Backborder Shop, and I started it. I started like 3 parts of it and didn't finish any of them. So like I started the white border, I started the bats, and I got 1 full pumpkin done. But then there's a whole middle block too. It's such a cute little design. I thought I would get it out for Halloween, and I didn't. But I do love it. Very happy with it. And that one I'm stitching with the Call for DMC. This right here is the first Heaven and Earth Designs full coverage piece I ever tried. And it is Story Keep Some Enchanted Evening, artwork by Randall Spangler. And I was stitching it using the parking method, and this is pre-Pattern Keeper for me. I have since uploaded this into Pattern Keeper, and I can't wait to try it that way, because like I did the work, I don't love parking, and I can't wait to just like carry threads everywhere and not have all this mess to like deal with. Some people make it the most beautiful braided loveliness, and mine just always feels like stringy mess. However, I did make some good progress on it, and I can't wait to go into Pattern Keeper and write down where I have all of it done, because it's going to look like I stitched a lot already. One thing about these story keeps to have like in the back of your head if you're thinking about doing one is that they're pretty confetti heavy, because they're like the most interesting pieces of a larger piece of artwork. Very detailed, but confetti heavy. This is my oldest WIP. It is 21 years old. It's from before my senior year of college. I was home, and I was working at my mom's bridal shop, which we had a lot of dead time during the day. And I started cross stitching again. It had been quite a few years for me, so this was really the beginning of where we're at now. But this is a Dimensions Gold kit from the Gold Collection, Lost No More, and it came with, no idea, 18 count Ada. Just like a jersey, me and you, 18 count Ada. Like, wow. And I have it on this giant scroll frame, and actually quite a bit of it's done. I had planned to give this to my mother, and it has since become a family joke about when is mom getting her cross stitch. One day, mother. One day it will come. And so I've got most of this done. The top is mostly city walls and sky, and they're mostly half stitches, so it really probably, with some effort, could get done. So we compare the pictures. You can see we're pretty far up. That tree is dense, and I was actually starting to run out of green, so I'm going to have to figure out how to get more green. But like that whole top other corner is all half stitch. I probably won't do most of the back stitching that it calls for. I kind of just like the not detailed bits of it. I don't know. It does look good with the back stitch. Opinions? Let me know. Because this one day has to get done. I don't want to have a 21-year-old project anymore. It's just kind of sad for the project, isn't it? Just sitting there waiting 21 years for me to not be so distracted by everything else. And that's hard on a project. I want to set this here for a second. I have my bin ready now that I'm going to use for the projects I want to focus on. That in the ground. Baby, oh, this is hard to do with WIP parades. These are things that I was not prepared for. So everybody who's done WIP parades, I appreciate all of your effort. It's not easy. So I think I want my modern folk embroidery in that bin. I think for now, everything else will not go in that bin. I'm just going to put them on the floor. The look Peanut is giving me right now, she's like, what on earth is happening? You've done this so many times, and every time you make it messier. Okay, so my next project is one I started since my last video. It is by Unconventional Cross Stitch, which is where I bought it. And I have to flip back through all of my tech support things here. The artwork is by Borda Danu Adrian. There's a similar piece of his that Laura Gurr is stitching. It's huge and very impressive. But then this one came out. I saw his artwork go up first on Instagram, and I was like, oh, I want to stitch that. And then Unconventional Cross Stitch had the pattern out like so fast. And so you can see it's Alice's head. And all of the characters are in there. I'm going to scroll down a little bit so you can see like the Cheshire Cat there in the darkness. And her face is all like pages and words. I'm so excited to stitch it. So I started it. I don't have anything kitted. I had the fabric. I had a 55 count easy grid that I wanted to try. And I'm doing one strand half cross. And the coverage looks pretty good for the tiny bit I did. And I just stole floss from another full coverage box that I was working from, and like that's I think 2 strands. It's gonna be massive. This is a big piece, and like, I have plenty of fabric, but that's big. So many stitches. Just really fun though. I don't know. I just wanted to stitch it. It inspired me. It's probably not going to be a focus piece yet. The next one I have here is one from Sprung. It's actually 2 in this bag. One of them is Sprung Smalls. I had started the Sprung pillow, and I'm doing it on this lovely crystal coastal Belfast 32 count linen, and you can see I started the S in Sprung. And on the same piece of linen, I also started Sprung String by Lizzie Kate. And that got to here. So, making good progress? No. But they were both, I think, March Madness starts that only got started one time. They didn't get any more attention. They didn't get voted for. This is another March Madness piece. This is Spring Has Sprung by Country Cottage Needleworks. I picked my own colors for this. I went more of like an aqua focus on this lovely gray linen. And that got a couple of days of work, I think. It's quite beautiful. And then, I didn't touch most of my autumn pieces this year. And they felt very neglected, I think, because this is Sampler of the Season Autumn by Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. Sorry about the glare. And this is the one that I have the holes in the bottom of, and everybody just thinks that I'm going to be able to stitch over it or just make it look intentional, give it more of a primitive look, so I'm not stressing about it. But it's a big sampler. No wonder it's not done yet. The bottom's pretty stitchy too. There's a house, there's all that grass. Like, all the grass. It would have been nice to work on, but now I think I'm switching to like holiday focus, so that's not gonna come up again. This one is my Black Needle Society Frogwarts Year 1 band sampler. I have the Year 2 pattern. I had originally been thinking I was going to stitch them all in one piece. Now I'm kind of thinking not. But you can see I've done nothing since last time. It's still a good start though. They're pretty intense patterns too. People were trying to get those done for the virtual retreat, and I couldn't even imagine getting that anywhere near done. Like I tried, but it just didn't happen. My next WIP is a Nitka Moscow kit in collaboration with Barbara Anna Designs. It is the Tree of Magic. I have this idea in my head that I want to just do one section a month, and then I'm going to get to these bigger, more intense sections, like when it's summer, when I don't have school, and then it'll get smaller again. And then maybe I could get this one done. I have the Christmas tree as well, but I did decide to spend one night just getting that little guy stitched, and I skipped his eyeball. I feel bad about that. He has one stitch for an eye that I missed. But I do really enjoy this project. I don't mind a little bit of backstitch because that is the cutest mouse tail I've ever seen. And you can see, like, if I have a little extra thread left, I'll just go into a neighboring one to get a little head start. So in December, I want to try to get this one done. It's possible, maybe. I should be writing this down. I haven't ordered a planner for next year. I'd love to hear what everybody else is using for a planner. Like, very interested, because I've looked at the Lori Holt planner, and I'm afraid it's a little smaller than I like. And I've looked at Happy planners, and I've looked at all these different planners, and now I'm just confused on what I want. So advice would be lovely. This one is the Owl Forest Embroidery. This is their free pattern this year. They do, like, I think weekly releases, and I'm just so far behind I wouldn't even know. It could even be all the way out now. It started with this like lovely blurry picture for Alice in Wonderland, and I'm stitching it on like a 48 count natural linen. It's tiny, and that's why I haven't touched it, because it's hard for me to see and stitch on. But isn't it pretty? That's lovely. I should really work on this more. And there's like a giant Alice foot over here somewhere. That's gonna be fun to stitch, should I ever pick it up and stitch it. It's a big piece. They've done a nice job on that design. So that's 2 Alice in Wonderland pieces. Something about that story. When I was working on my second master's for literacy, they use excerpts from Alice in Wonderland to teach about how our language works and how syntax works. It's pretty interesting stuff. So this is Spring Hair by Lottie Da. And on this one, I started it for March Madness. I think I must have worked on it a couple days. He probably got voted for. I can't believe he didn't win. He's so pretty. Like, that's a nice looking piece. And this is like the perfect room for it. But he's spring stitching. Maybe in February my spring pieces will start to look tempting to me, because I'll be a little tired of the snow around here. Or at least the cold and everything looking dead. That's what I can count on, is that everything around here will now look dead for a very long time. This is Wild Berries by Blackbird Designs. This one catches the glare the worst. And it's a lovely piece. If you were lucky like me, you could have one that's hole punched by Apollo in the corner. Yeah, I've talked to him about that, and he just bites through it. And you can see here that I have done nothing. Okay, sorry, right back. And Peanut has, in the meantime, gotten where she should be, so I knew she'd show up for this video. How about right here? Doesn't that seem like a better spot for you? Okay, we'll continue. So this project is by Rosewood Manor, and it's Spring Quakers, and I'm using the called for linen and the called for flosses, which are the 3-strand Valdani pretty little balls. Tricky thing about this one, it doesn't look it in the picture, but it's actually color change heavy, which is not my favorite kind of Quaker sampler to work on. I tried to tell you, Hunter, come here. She's having a hard time. Because apparently the stitching bags she just tried to lay on are slippery. And she knocked half of them on the floor. Why don't you lay right here? It's a nice spot for a kitty. I don't know what I'm talking about. Oh, Peanut. Okay, so my favorite Quakers tend to be 1 to 2 colors. This is a lot more color changing and fussy, but it is beautiful. Just more time consuming to stitch, so I don't typically pull it out. But maybe this spring I'll be more excited about it. These are by Hands On Design. These are the Scary Apothecary series. I've stitched the first 3. There are 10 total. And my next one I haven't started yet is Cackle Lozenges. I'm stitching them all in one piece with a plan to cut them all apart and decorate bottles with them for Halloween. So lots more work to do on that one. Then these are the Calendar Crate series by Stitching with the Housewives. And I had started July and I'm still on July. So I think what I'm going to do is switch out from just trying to like finish them. I might switch to stitching whichever month it happens to be in. And then I'm going to end up with 12 more WIPs. But at least I'll be inspired to stitch on them because they'll be a little more timely. Or even like maybe the month before. So if like it's December, maybe I'll work on January. I don't know. There's a lot of those. Because I signed up for the club through Fat Glitter Shop, and it's great. I just now have this entire bag full of floss and patterns ready to be stitched that I'm not stitching. This is an old one. This is the Frightful Mystery Sampler. I'm about halfway done with this. It's on a piece of 32 count linen that I dyed blue and then coffee tea stained after and then baked in the oven. So like it's probably not going to catch on here, but it's pretty mottled and kind of creepy fabric. But that one's a lot of color changing too. It's like you do a little tiny bit and then you have to change color. Do a tiny bit and then change color. I just find that less rewarding. This is A Year of Celebrations by Hands On Designs. I have stitched January all the way through July, and August is still waiting for more attention. So here's the ones that are still here. The rest of them have been fully finished. And there's August. Then this one is Hello Spring by Plum Street Samplers. That's the next one. I've done autumn and winter, and I have summer in here. I'm stuck on spring right now. I started this for March Madness and it only got, I think, 1 day of work from the looks of things because it's just got a bunny head and a spiral. And that's on a piece of 32 count, but I'm only using 1 strand because I like that little primitive look on that fabric a lot. And then this, you've seen plenty. This is Hedgerow Birds. I was like on fire trying to get this done in January, February, and then I haven't touched it since. So it's still in the exact same spot. So there's the front, all done. Here's the back, not done, and needing not a whole lot more. There's just a bird and some flower, and then it would be done. And ready to go live in the box of shame because it requires sewing. So I'm going to take a quick break and put all these in a bin and grab my last pile. Okay, slightly more organized. I've done more cat fur too. This one is from the Cricut collection. This is Spring. This one won my March Madness, and then I failed to complete it like I was supposed to. So it's still just sitting there, SPRI, and there needs to be more flowers before I can do the N and the G. I don't know why I couldn't stay buckled to that one. I think it was because it was such a big one. I think if I chose pieces for March Madness again, I would stick with smaller ones that I feel closer to success with. This project is Jack Frost's Tree Farm by Little House Needleworks. I have the first 4 parts done out of 7, and I've started the 5th. So I absolutely love that. The top banner, like, that made this piece, but now we're down here, and I started the trees on it. So this is the hot cocoa skin, and that's going to be cute. These don't take long to stitch up at all, really. And they're very happy. I hope to go get a Christmas tree, maybe this weekend. I don't know if the weather's going to be great for that. Now I'm putting these in my bin that I'm going to have by my stitching spot, and they're going to mostly be holiday pieces or my sales that I'm currently working on. When I finished the strawberry snail house, I started the Lily of the Valley snail house. Emma and Joe went to the Forget-Me-Not. I chose the Lily of the Valley. This snail is like a beast. So you can see I got it started. I had to redo his head once because I accidentally stitched it in pink the first time instead of the gray-brown. It looks pretty good. We're getting down there. This is Celebrate Christmas by Madame Chantilly. These tier trays are a ton of work. I have Celebrate Halloween stitched and sitting in the box of shame. But this one started. I'm stitching it on 40 count with 1 thread over 2 strands of linen, 1 strand over 2 threads of linen. Sounded weird both times I said it. I would like to get the top of the tier tray done this year, but I don't know if that's really going to happen because I have a lot of things I'd like to get done this year. This one's not even close to a finish, so it's less likely to pull my attention. This one, however, I feel like is doable. This is Hands-On Design, Let's Talk Winter. I own winter and spring, and I have linen for all 4 seasons. But this is the only one I've started. I do love my linen. It's from Southern Stitchers Co. And she did an excellent job dyeing this. It's got some very nice texture, and it's a nice feeling piece of linen. These aren't actually that big, and there's not a ton of color changes because it's mostly white, and then you have the accent colors. So it seems like I could do it as long as I don't get burnt out on stitching snow. This is Quaker Snowflakes. I started this last January as a gift from my friend Tracy. And you can see it there. I chose a silk for that, a Karen watercolor, water lilies in South Pacific. And I have not touched it in a while, but I feel like anytime I even just do like 1 thread on this one, it looks like a lot. So there's the whole top. I have a lot of extra fabric too, but I usually trim it up after. So that one I can see being a little bit more popular to work on in January. And I like that I did it in not white because there's a lot of white stitching in all of these holiday projects. Like this one. This is the Glitter Village series by Cottage Needleworks. It's a set of 9. I have the first 4 done, and this is the 5th one. I need to start next. I did not start any of it yet, though. It's on the lovely raw silver linen, which is the like so sparkly linen. So pretty happy with that. I still have the spot picked out for this one. Isn't done yet. This is my kit I got from Evertote before I even knew about the Stitch North Stitch Retreat. So this is a collaboration between Modern Folk Embroidery, Evertote, and Leo and Roxy Yarn Company. And so you get the bag, you get the pattern, and the Leo and Roxy floss. It's such a fun set to get. And it's called the Moonshine Cabin, by the way. And I stitched the moon so far and a little bit of the vines. This is a harder linen for me to stitch on if it's not bright daylight though. I usually have like my IKEA lamp for my stitching light, and it's not quite bright enough. I have another stitching light in the other room I should probably try with it, because that one I think has a few more options for different levels of brightness. This is Mary and Minty. This was a free pattern released by Brenda Gervais last winter. And I almost caught up with it, and I almost finished it, and then I didn't. So all that's really missing is Santa and a garland, like a popcorn, cranberry and popcorn garland for the tree. And it's supposed to trail down. That's all it's left. So I feel like that one could get done. A few hours of work. Flying through these. There's like less than 10 now. This is the White Christmas set by Hands On Design. There were 9 total, and I stitched 6, and so I only have 3 left, and I'm working currently on Reindeer Games. And every letter in Reindeer Games is backstitched, which is probably why I haven't stitched it again, because backstitching's not my favorite. However, only 3 left. That's kind of an impressive stat for me. This is Basketful of Wintertime by With Thy Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais. And I think I've decided that I'm not going to do the flowers. I'm going to stop at that zigzag, which means that it's actually kind of close to done, because there's just the basket and the zigzag and bottom of Santa and the deer. So that one could be done. Let's see. See what I mean? A lot of them are getting closer to being done. And then maybe I won't have quite so many whips. And this is Farmhouse Christmas by Little House Needleworks. It's another 9-part. This one has a companion piece that's coming out this month called, I think, Autumn on the Farm. But that's the one I need to start next. And so far mine looks like this. I haven't touched it since summer. So pretty though. I don't expect to finish that one this year, but maybe by next year. This is not a holiday piece. This is my Cryptid's Stitch Along by the Witchy Stitcher. I'm sure many of you have seen this one because it's all over Instagram. And I have gotten 3 Cryptids done. This is one of my favorite ones to work on right now. I feel very accomplished when I put it into Pattern Keeper, and then I cross out everything I've already stitched, and it says I'm already 25% done. But I'm currently working on the Jersey Devil, which there's only a little bit left. So this is fun. I've also used the Diamante up here, and I don't think I like. I think I'm just going to switch back to using the DMC, so I'm probably going to pick that and restitch it. I don't know why. The Diamante is like bulky. It was more texture than I was ready for. I bought a bunch of it. Oh, maybe it's just the linen count. Any advice? I'd love to hear it. This is from the Silk Stitching app. It's a Stitch Along Winter Wonderland sale with Xstitch MD. And it's Winter Wonderland. This is what the pattern looks like. And it was designed by Dorothy of Werkstatt für Historische Stickmaster. Terrible. Like, I really wish I could speak German and pronounce these words correctly. But the app is wonderful to use, especially since it works on an iPhone or an iPad where the Pattern Keeper doesn't. So I started this last year on that same like 45 count linen that I can't see very well. So that's probably why there's not very much done. Maybe more will get done this year. I saw Shiloh pulled hers out, so that could be inspiring. This next one is Winter Smalls by Lizzie Kate, and I've done winter, I've done the snowman, and I'm on the sheep, and it's very small. Not much to it. So there's the snowman and there's the tree, so there's just some sheep and snow to do. And that should be a quick one to finish up. That might be a cute little gift to give away this year too. And then this, I wish I could finish this anytime in the next couple of years, but Kringles is a beast. I'm not past the roof yet. This is by Little House Needleworks. I'm stitching it with called for, uncalled for, on my poor little roof. I'm only using one strand because I do just prefer how my stitches look, and there was a lot of snow. But you can see my roof isn't quite as, like, it doesn't have as much coverage, so it doesn't stand out as much. So I feel like I'm working really hard to stick to a pattern that you can't see as well. I still think it's beautiful though. Kimberly Jolly got hers framed and it looks amazing. We saw that on the Blackbird shop Flosstube. This one needs a real project bag. I'm currently just working from the pattern bag, and it's a little more awkward than it should be. Okay, and I'm done my last one, and that is Mini Sunflower Cottage. And you've seen this one everywhere. I'll insert a picture if I think to do that while editing. And I'll have to use it up here. And there she is. I tried to do 100 days of Haid, and I think I got through like 60 days of Haid. And then school started, and life got stressful, and I stopped stitching as much as I should. So that is all of my whips. Got lots to do, and I have like a million other things I want to start. So maybe we'll make some progress in the next couple weeks and not let school overwhelm me quite so much. And hopefully I'll be back with an update before the holidays. I hope everyone has a great start to their December. And please let me know about planners or any ideas for how you're going to attack projects next year. Can't wait. So everybody take care. Thanks for joining me. Appreciate your time.